All right, I'm here to answer some questions. Every surfer influencer, every surf school teach the pop-up differently. There are different ways of popping up, and sometimes it can get confusing for a beginner surfer. And I'm here to give you a more precise understanding of why different schools or instructors teach differently, and really what is the best pop-up technique for you. I'm going to break down each technique for you, tell you the pros, the cons, and how to progress from each technique. By the end of the video, you will understand probably why your first lesson was unsuccessful or you barely got up, and why you are struggling to get up on your board and how to fix it. My name is Saskia. I'm a surf instructor and I'm the owner of Punta Cana Surf Adventure, a surf school at Macao Beach, Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Now, to get started, we have to understand what is the purpose of the pop-up. The objective of the pop-up is to get you on your feet as efficient and as effectively as possible so you can stand on the board and stay on the board so you can ride the wave. If you cannot pop up properly, you will simply not be able to surf because you won't be able to stand properly on the board. You may be wondering, why are there so many pop-up techniques? Why not just teach one way to get up so it's not so confusing? Well, that's actually the answer to the whole pop-up issue. Because not everybody is the same, simply because people are different. And a technique that might work for one person might not work to another. And the first thing that we should have into consideration before we learn how to pop up is what are the conditions of the actual surfer. Like the surfer's physical ability, for example. What are her strengths, their flexibility? What is the objective of the lesson? This is something that they want to cross off a bucket list and have it done and say, I surfed? Or is a younger adult that really wants to get into surfing, or even an older adult that wants to see if they can surf and maybe venture into surfing as a new lifestyle? Understanding this, let's get into it. So let's get started with the knee pop-up or the knee assist pop-up. It means that you use your knees to get up. The advantages of this technique are the following. It works great with surfers that are simply slower, that don't have the explosiveness to get up really quick. It works very well with surfers that have less flexibility in the hips, in the knees, and the ankles. Like bending their body is not going to be as easy. You're assisting yourself to get up on the board. The disadvantages for this technique are that it may be too slow for faster, bigger, or hollow waves. For most people, it becomes a really bad habit to break once you get used to getting up on your knees. Another disadvantage of this technique is that it will make the progress very difficult if you want to surf bigger, faster waves or smaller boards. And a common complaint of this technique is probably the fourth reason why it has a disadvantage is that you get your knees scratched. Depending on the board that you use, if it has wax or if it's foam, some people have very sensitive skin on the knees and they get scratched. So why is this technique taught if it has these cons? Well, sometimes if nothing else works, this is the way we will help you get you on your feet. If you are taught to get up using your knees, my biggest recommendation is that once you're getting up on your feet, you have to work on getting the issues that are not allowing you to get up on your feet faster. For example, work on your mobility, work on your speed, and try to get out of the knee pop-up as soon as you can. It is great for the first couple of lessons because you will have a good sense of what surfing is like. If you don't want to be let down because you're unable to get up on your board, you can. This technique works for that, but just understand what is preventing you from getting up differently and work on it. The second and third pop-up technique that I'm going to talk to you about is the chicken wing pop-up and the Australian pop-up. I'll talk about them together because they are the same concept, just with a little small variation. The chicken wing pop-up, you're lying down on the board, and normally before you get up or even before you go down the wave, you bring your back foot forward and then get up. And the Australian pop-up, you push your chest up and then you place your back foot and your front foot. The main objective is to make sure that the placement of your back foot is correct and use your back foot to assist you bring your front foot forward. The pros are the following. It is very good when you don't have any idea of how to place your feet. Placing your back foot first, it will make very easy to just concentrate on placing your front foot correctly on the board. Your back foot will assist you in pushing yourself up to get up on the board. And probably one of the most important advantages is that as you place your back foot down, you're actually anchoring the tail of the board into the wave, and that will prevent you from nose diving. Probably the only disadvantage of this technique is that it can be a little bit slower, especially if you are still a beginner. It will slow you down. Some beginners that can do the jump pop-up will do better just doing the jump pop-up, because as a beginner, it can be a little bit slower than a jump pop-up. The only other disadvantage, as you do the chicken wing pop-up specifically, if you're lying down on the board and your back foot is forward, your knee can drag water and slow you down. It is important to know that many pro surfers just surf doing a really fast version of the Aussie pop-up, and it works beautifully. If you like this technique and it works for you and you can do it really fast, really, there's no need to change to a different technique. Lastly, let's talk about the jump pop-up. The jump pop-up is simply paddling into the wave, pushing yourself up and bringing your feet under you, landing on the board. This is very common among younger surfers or older surfers that have very good explosion, flexibility, and have no issue in just jumping and landing in place. The pros of this technique is that probably it is the fastest way to get you on your feet. The disadvantages are mostly to learn this technique while you are still a beginner. It requires a lot of explosiveness. If you are a beginner, your timing might not be right. You will not be able to land in a timely manner. You might be able to do the jump up, but not fast enough. This is something that can be worked on as well. You will probably need to work on your speed as you progress. Probably the second disadvantage of this technique is that if you are a beginner, you will struggle with your foot placement. People that do the jump up without much experience, they tend to jump too far forward or stay too far back. So they struggle with the foot placement because you're getting on your feet so fast that you don't land properly on the board. That is something that can also be worked on. And the third disadvantage of this technique, and probably the error that I most commonly see on beginners that are trying to achieve the jump up, is that they tend to constantly jump and fall off the board because they cannot control their momentum, and they just jump and keep going and fall off the board. This is a very common issue because your body positioning is not right as you are inexperienced. I want to emphasize that you should not get caught up in trying to accomplish perfectly one specific technique. I want you to put all your efforts on getting up regardless of the technique and making sure your body positioning and your foot placement is correct. That is the key to your success. You want to get up on the board as fast as you can, but you want to stay on the board. And you can get up really fast, but if your momentum is getting you off the board, or if you cannot control how the rest of your body is positioned, then it is not a successful pop-up. Try different techniques and see what works for you, because you want to get up on the board. If you are not standing up and surfing the waves, you will not progress. It is better to do a slower technique until you get used to it, until it becomes easy, and then you can progress to something different. You want to get on your feet and you want to surf. So in conclusion, there really is no right way to pop up. Find a technique that works for you. And once you find that, then just work on it. Try to get better and better. In 15 years teaching people how to surf, this is probably the approach that I think works best. Relaxing people about the perfect way of getting up on the board and just making sure that they get up, and then work from there. Let me know in the comments what you think, what pop-up works for you. Share with other surfers techniques that really helped what were your limitations and how you overcame them? I would love to know. I was for many years very slow, so don't get too obsessed about it. Go out there, surf, practice, and let me know how it goes.